back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So, 7 years. We are here at 7 fucking years. Just say that, 7 years. I've been here every single day for 7 fucking years now. That is no small amount of time. So I gave up drinking when I was 34. 7 years before that, I was 27. So there's pretty much just as much distance from when I quit drinking to my prime as when I quit drinking to now. There's a lot of fucking distance. 27 wasn't my prime, by the way. 27 was the beginning of the end. So that's a chunk of time. That's a significant chunk of time. And the more time goes on and the longer I stay sober, the more I feel fucking detached from that old person. I was thinking about it the other day. I was thinking about some of the old stories I used to tell, some of the old fucking bullshit I used to do. And I was like, who was that guy? And I was starting to feel removed, completely removed from that person. But the problem is, even though I do feel removed from that person, there are like behavior patterns and things that I've dragged all the way through fucking those 7 years. And I haven't even begun to change those habits. Like the giving up the drinking is one thing. That's actually quite a simple thing. Once you get over the hump, the first year is the hardest. Once you get over the 3 to 6 month hump and you get past the year, then you're just carried by inertia to the next year, to the next year, to the next year. And then eventually the cost of drinking and starting again becomes way too much to even contemplate. Like, what's the point of getting fucked up now and then maybe going on a 3-month bender, maybe dying, and then going back and starting again and going through this whole goddamn process again? And the insight you get after 7 years is it wasn't actually the drink. You know that immediately. You know that from basically the start. You know there's a bigger reason underneath the drinking that's making you drink. But the first step is you need to stop the drinking to even see that. You need to clear away the fog. Unless you clear away the fog, there's no way you can even see what needs to be fucking fixed. And then once the fog clears, it takes a while to even fucking figure out what's going on. You know what I mean? The giving up the drink just gives you the ability to see. It doesn't give you the ability to act, because the things that led you to the drinking in the first place are so deeply ingrained and fucking locked in that you actually just think that's who you are. You're like, I am that person. That's how locked in some of these behaviors are. I say behaviors, but it's more fear. It's the fear that causes the behavior that leads you to like extreme emotions, that leads you to want to blunt those out with the booze. It's all like cause and effect. So for me, I suppose what has become clearer and clearer, maybe just in the last 2 months, I would say. It's always been in the background, but like you avoid confronting it. So I feel like right at the core of how I behave and the things I do and the decisions I make, I feel like it's a deep, crippling fear of rejection. I think that's what it is. Because if I'm honest with myself and look at my behavior over the years, I have always shielded myself from like real rejection. Doing stand-up's a little bit different. You're performing, you're doing a performance there, even though it is raw and you go up there and bomb, that's not the same thing. What's harder for me is like everything off stage. Like I went to this gig last night and I wasn't on, I just went to watch, and I needed to speak to the guy running the room at the end of the night, and for like an hour and a half, it was just in my head. I was like, oh fuck, just walk out or send him a message. Like the resistance to just go up and say, hey, my name's David, I'm an Australian comedian, love to do your room. That's all you needed to do. That's all I needed to do. But like for the prior hour before I did it, it's just all negative talk in your head. Like, what will they think? You're going to be other. It's just bullshit. And then eventually you just sit there and just go, no matter what happens, I'm just going up at the end of the show and speaking to this guy, shaking his hand, saying this and that. And that's all I did. And like it was in nothing, but something deep inside was trying to make me run away from that. And if I look back, I'll be honest here. If I look back like the last 2, 3, 4 years, so I went to Edinburgh, Ireland, England, Toronto, sold shows all over those places. And then at the end of that, I was like super depressed. I had fallen out of love with comedy. I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to fucking do any of it. And so I went into my shell. I kind of stopped doing comedy. And then I took that job, which was just another way of protecting myself from rejection. So the falling out of love with the comedy, that was me, if I'm honest, that was me just protecting myself from potential failure or rejection or something like that. I haven't fully worked it out, but I can see obviously as soon as I got a little taste of success, I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm getting out of here and I'm getting into the goddamn fucking tunnels. And then when I was in the tunnels, I knew what I was doing. I did need the money. I'm going to be honest with you. I was earning a lot of money in the tunnels, and then we did need the money, but we could have like got by and scratched by, and I could have spent that time building the podcast, building my fucking comedy career, starting to tour more. I could have doubled down on everything and things would have been different now, but I chose the other path. And when I was down in the tunnels, I knew what I was doing. I knew I was hiding down there. I knew I was giving myself an excuse not to put myself out there and expose myself to potential rejection. And when you do that, when you try and hide yourself from the fear, the thing you're afraid of manifests itself. So if you're afraid of rejection and you try and protect yourself from being rejected, at some point down the line or along the line, you are going to have to face that. And the deeper you get into that avoidance, the heavier you're going to have to face it. So for me, over the last couple of months, I have honestly sat with myself. I'm like, I know I do this. I know I'm protecting myself from the rejection. I also had to find a way to do comedy that doesn't feel fucking disgusting to me as well. I had to figure out a way to do it that is compatible with my personality as well. And just seeking fame wasn't going to work for me either. But if you go beyond that, essentially, I was afraid and I was just protecting myself. And that's not the only thing. There's fears all the way down. If you keep going underneath that, there's probably a fear of something fucking bigger than that, abandonment. It's all just fear all the way down. But now that I know this, now that I know that I have a genuine, palpable fear of rejection that I have shielded myself from most of my life, now if I want to move forward, I have to expose myself to rejection. And the only way I can do that is increase my exposure to rejection and put myself further and further out there. I've basically been hiding. No, seriously, I've been fucking hiding. And now after 7 years of being sober, and after a certain point, nothing changes. You just continue doing what you're doing. I don't want to be here in 50 years, or not 50 years. I don't want to be here by the time I'm 50 and still be afraid of rejection. It's too much now. So now I'm going to court rejection. I'm going to overcome this fear of rejection, and then I can move on to the next one. Whatever is bubbling underneath that, I'll take another 7 years to figure out, and then I'll face that. But the one that I feel like has stunted most of my growth artistically and probably as a person is the fear of rejection. And so now I think it's time just to fucking get over it. Okay, so that's 7 years. It took you 7 years to figure out you're a goddamn pussy. That's how long it takes. So a lot of this personal shit, you can't beat yourself up too much because it's a process. It's a long fucking process. The giving up alcohol is one thing. The overcoming your fear and the changing of who you are, like at your core, is a completely different fucking endeavor. But it's the most important endeavor you've got to face. So here is to 7 years. Thank you to everyone who has put up with my bullshit for this past 7 years. I know I must be a frustrating cunt to listen to as well. But fucking, what can you do? I'm just a guy out here with some headphones on in front of a mic trying to fucking get by, you know? But I appreciate all you hardcores, all the new listeners, everyone. I'm going to keep fucking smashing along. And now you know all this, you're going to see a lot more of me. Anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate you all. That'll do for tonight. And I'll see you the fuck later.